Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. In today's video I wanted to talk to you about luxury shaming, and I wanted to record this video for the longest time. I'm so happy that I'll be able to discuss it with you today. By the way guys, please consider subscribing to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. And please also consider subscribing to my Instagram account, which is the same as my YouTube account, Black and Gold Style. And please also consider checking out my other playlists. I posted quite a few videos about style and fashion, Chanel bags, jewelry, weekly vlogs, luxury tips, mistakes, Dior videos, luxury shopping vlogs, beauty products, and travel videos. A few weeks ago, I conducted a poll on my Instagram account and I asked my followers whether they are being judged for their luxury purchases and how do they feel about it, and I saw very interesting results. And I was very surprised by how many people, over 1,000 people, felt this way, and which is quite interesting because most of those ladies who participated in the poll are actually pretty independent. They buy these items themselves. Many of them are working pretty hard. So the question is, why do people who work pretty hard to earn the money are feeling ashamed to spend the money the way they want to? And there is this assumption that people who don't buy luxury expensive items are somehow better with money. Well, that's not always the case. You don't know on what they spend their money. You don't know how careful they are with other little expenses that add up, whether they budget and what else they buy. And I feel like this kind of assumptions are wrong. I often get judged as well, and it's usually by people that have different preferences. In other words, they just prefer to spend money in a different way. Some people prefer to collect cars instead of luxury items, and they would be upgrading them every couple of years. And others prefer to spend their money on high street items. They would be spending a few $1,000s, and others prefer to travel, and some prefer to go out, socialize and drink almost every couple of days. And that's a personal preference. I wouldn't say something is wrong, something is right. Just because you buy luxury items, it doesn't mean that you are somehow less responsible with money. In fact, if you buy items that go up in value, they appreciate with time, I would say that you spend your money wisely. When I personally refer to luxury as an investment piece, I talk about purchasing an item that is going to be in my wardrobe for as long as possible, and it means I don't have to spend my money to replace this item every few years. I myself, when I was a lot younger, I used to have assumption that a Chanel bag is way out of my reach. I'm too young to be able to purchase it, and it's just too expensive, and therefore I would go and I would spend the money on cheaper items, but I would buy a few of them. Instead of buying a bag that I really wanted, I would go with cheaper alternatives from high street brands that I didn't really love. Because the quality is so poor and they would end up falling apart, I would go back and purchase more, and in the end I would spend a lot of money on this kind of items. And the amount of money that I spent on all these items could have been easily spent on a classic flat bag that actually appreciated in value. And I just didn't realize the mistakes that I was making back then. It took me a while to learn. All my Chanel bags that I purchased over these years have increased in value, and some have already doubled. While I'm not someone who sells items, in fact, I have never tried selling any of my bags, but it's good to know that if one day I fall out of love with them, I will still have an option to recover what I paid for it and a lot more. It's all about having the choice. I know that as long as I'm careful with the item, I look after it, it will stay new for as long as possible. It's gonna last me for the next 20 to 30 years and above. and I can actually pass it to my kids if I want to in the future. I know that the leather is not going to peel, the hardware is not going to change the color, it's not going to fall apart. And I love the fact that they are so timeless and classic. But then, of course, not every luxury item has the best quality. For example, my LV bags that I purchased, their hardware looks so bad. I spoke about it in some of my videos, and also my Gucci bags. If I were to sell them, I probably won't be even able to recover 70% of what I paid for them. The designs are just too trendy, and that's what I try to stay away from now. And of course, because I wanted to be responsible, I used to buy items only from high street brands that wouldn't last long. I would use them maximum 1 to 2 times. I would wash them and then they would look so old and the fabric just wouldn't feel great. It was horrible. I will never forget that phrase. You're not that rich to buy cheap items that will fall apart. And for some time I couldn't understand this phrase because I used to think, well, if the item is not expensive, it means I saved. In reality, I wasn't saving anything. I would spend money to alter them because they wouldn't fit, and then I would wear them a few times and they would just look horrible. I would end up throwing them away. Those that still looked like new, I ended up donating, and that were a lot of items that I donated, but still, I wish I never purchased them, and it would be way better if I just donated the cash. Nowadays, I don't buy many clothing items. I actually don't really shop that much. I think I'm pretty good for the rest of the year. I bought enough items, and I would rather do that than to keep purchasing something and throwing it away and keep polluting the planet. And of course, I'm not someone who only buys designer expensive items. They don't have to be always expensive, but I just want to know that if I buy this top and let's say if I wash it, I don't have to throw it away because it will be completely ruined. I still like shopping at the stores such as Sandro and Much. I like their clothes and I find it very timeless and the quality is good, but if the quality will change, I will stop buying it. Even when it comes to designer shoes, I find that all the shoes that I purchased last me so much longer, and the brands can actually help to re-heel them, resole them, and that's so much better than if I were to buy something cheap and ended up throwing away in a few months. I also no longer make lots of small purchases that add up and become a huge amount by the end of the month. I always budget my expenses and I save for items instead of just going and purchasing. And I don't like to buy items on credit. I only use my credit card and I pay it off within the month. I don't like to have any extra fees. And I also have the rule, if I can't buy 5 of them, I can't afford them. I actually prefer to take at least 4 to 6 months to think through the purchases, especially when possible, and that's most applicable to jewelry. I really take a long time. I go to store a few times to try it on, think about it. I take pictures and videos and I look at them several times and then I make up my mind. And when I buy the item, I actually appreciate it a lot more than if I were to buy it on a whim. And this strategy works for me. And I noticed that all the items that I randomly bought on a whim, I ended up falling out of love with and ended up regretting purchasing them. And I don't want to make these mistakes anymore. I will be recording a video about impulse purchasing and I'll be sharing some tips with you, and I hope that you will find this video interesting as well. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider to do so. I actually enjoy taking my time with the purchase. I like to have something to look forward to. I enjoy researching about it, thinking about pros and cons, trying it on a few times, and it will always make me appreciate the item more because I spent more time and thought into purchasing it rather than just going to the store, swiping my card and bringing it back home. I think if you're responsible with your finances, if you plan wisely, if you have enough savings, it's okay to buy something that you like and that you know you'll be able to use for the years to come. And if anything, you're making a much wiser decision. And I also realized that it doesn't matter what you do in life, whether you buy expensive items or not, you will get judged. I feel like everyone has such a fixated view of what you should be doing with your life, where you should study, who you should date, who you should marry, how many kids you should have, when you should have your second kid, and why aren't you not planning it yet. I feel like we need to just let it go. And if we allow ourselves to get affected by all these judgments, then we will just never be happy. I feel like as long as we stick to the budget, we are careful with how we spend money on little things, if we plan ahead and save for items, it's fine. If you want to buy a Chanel bag or a Hermes Birkin bag or whatever you want to purchase, if you want to get this item, just get it. You are buying this item for you. It's there to make you happy. And it doesn't matter what other people think. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you, and I hope that you like this video and found it interesting. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comment section down below, and please feel free to share how you handle this kind of situation and what do you think about it. I would really appreciate it, and I know that some of us would find it very useful. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!